Hello, hello, and happy Monday. It is a fantastic Monday, August 28th. This is the last Monday of August, right? And so I don't know if you're like me and you're counting down the months of the year and you know that you just have all of these goals that you want to achieve and you have all of these plans for the rest of the year, but I am that type of person. I'm trying to plan events in my head, and just as I was reflecting today, I noticed that today is the final Monday of August. And so, to commemorate August, I am going to be doing a fantastic salute at the end of the month for all of my past August guests. And my special guest that I'm going to have on with me in just a few minutes, she's going to be among the list of special guests. And so I'm going to get you settled in. I want to know how your Monday is going. I want to know. So I want you to check in the comment section. Let me know where you are looking and listening for. Let me know what your end goals are. Definitely make sure that you are engaging with this podcast episode. As you know, this podcast episode airs live on IG every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but you can also catch the replay over on YouTube and also on all podcast platforms. So I want to say thank you so much for being a part of my Jazzy crew and sticking in with me, making sure that you guys are engaging. So here's one thing that I do want you to think about. As you are thinking about your goals for the rest of the year, do you have a business? Do you have a service that you provide? And if so, I want to invite you to partner with the Jazzy Conversations with Jazz podcast by purchasing ad space on my podcast. And it's so easy to do. All you have to do is email me at Jazzy, that's Jazzie, conversations with Jazz. That's Jazzy, Jazzie, conversations with Jazz at gmail.com. And I will get you all of that promotional information out so that you can go ahead and start marketing your business to a broader audience. I'd love to do that for you. And also, I want you to book me for your special event. Do you have a special event and you need a host? You know, every event comes to life with a dynamic host. And I have been hosting special events, corporate events, church events, baby showers, bridal showers, wedding parties, birthday parties, book releases, all of those great events. I've hosted them for over 20 years, and I would love to jazz up your event. So if you are in need of a host for your special event, definitely email me at jazzyconversationswithjazz@gmail.com. As with every Monday, you already know, if you are here, you already know the way that this goes. You know that every Monday I provide a special guest for you. And this is a work of passion. This is something I'm very passionate about. This is a work of purpose. And so I truly believe that you can make a comeback with three things: God, the right resources and knowing how to use those resources, and also by doing the necessary work. You've got to do the work because faith without works is dead. And so we are going to believe in God. We are going to make sure that we have the right resources. We know how to use those resources and that we are definitely willing to put in the work. And so I want to welcome you again to episode 93. Listen, my special guest for today is someone that I've had the opportunity to know ever since she was a little girl. Like, I don't think she remembers me remembering her, but I was asking her all of these questions like, do you remember when such and such and such and such and such and such? And so I remember her always being, very, happy. And my introduction to her as a woman and into adulthood was astounding because a lot of people just told me about her skill set. I would visibly see the work that she does because she's in the beauty industry. And so without further ado, I want to introduce you to my special guest for episode 93. My special guest for episode 93 is Trenise Parham. And so she's ambitious. She's driven, and she always loves to seek new opportunities for growth. And that's what I love about her story. That's what I love about her bio. And so she's been in she's been in the beauty industry. Trenise, I'm trying to turn you into a singer, girl. That may be one of your hidden talents. I'll have to ask you that in my 21 questions with Jazz segment. But she's been in the beauty industry for over 15 years. And so she is definitely a licensed cosmetologist, and she has expert knowledge in the beauty industry. And throughout her professional career, she loves to be engaged in various professional development. She's gone through different internships just so that she can be an expert and the best in her field. Now, aside from being in the beauty industry, she is definitely a businesswoman, and we're going to learn all about her methods of business, the things that she's been doing to set herself up in terms of being a proficient professional. She's an author. Above all else, she is an author. And we talk about having all of these streams of income, but she has a dynamic book that I definitely want you to check out. And she's going to tell you all about it. The title of that book is How to Transition from Section 8 to 8 Streams of Income, Building Passive Income Beyond Your Hands. And so without further ado, I want to introduce to you my special guest for episode 93, none other than Miss Trenise Parham, who is definitely also the CEO, owner of Diverse Dynasty. I'm going to send her a request to come on, and then engaging into this podcast episode, I definitely need for you to make sure that you are putting your questions in the chat at the bottom, because I can see them, and I promise you that I will respond to them. And we just want to make this such an engaging conversation. So, hey, Trenise, how are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
We are so good. We are so good. I'm loving how my lipstick is matching your shirt, so that's a plus. I love it.
Awesome.
You're so gorgeous, and of course you would be gorgeous because you're so heavily immersed in the beauty industry and in all things hair care. I'm gonna tell you something. Look, I tried to do my bob in a way that would send you a message that I know that you are the bob queen. So I just want to say, I'm just going to give you your kudos to start off. I've seen the bobs. I'm like, okay, my next time I get a bob, I'm going to go to Trenise.
See me.
I will come see you. I will come see you. So how's your Monday going?
Monday's going good. A little nerve wreck. Was ready to get on and talk with Jazzy's conversation. So I'm here, guys. Ready to enlighten you on what's going on with Diverse Dynasty.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say, Trenise, I'm very proud of you. I know that when we started talking, I don't know if you've ever seen people, or you've grown up with people and you just see them all the time and you feel that you know them. And that's how I was with you. It's like, you're younger than me, and those age gaps, they become non-existent once you become an adult. But when you are not an adult and you're not a teenager, it feels like you're so far apart from the person that you're seeing. And so that's how I felt about you. And I'm like, well, she's not a little girl anymore at all. And we are honestly not that far apart as I thought we were, you know what I mean, in age. And so it's just been such a joy looking from the outside in to see the woman that you have become. So I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're most welcome. You're most welcome. So look, I see you are all in the podcast studio, so I know you are ready to go. This is how serious Trenise is about her business. One thing that I also admired about our conversations is the fact of how you led with a business mind. And I love that. I can respect that from all angles, from all people. And so we're going to talk about how you develop such a strong business mindset, because we don't always have that. We don't always have that protection over our brand as we should. And so those are just like those learning points of business and how to make your business grow. So we're going to start off very light. I'm going to start you off with a segment that I like to call 21 Questions with Jazz. And so these are just questions that just allow you to open up and let the audience get to know you. So are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So first of all, I'm going to start off because both of us are Floridians. We are about to be immersed in this storm business. We know the kids are out on Wednesday and on Thursday, and here it is, not even September, and it is about to start. So how are you preparing for the storm? Are you prepared? Are you good? You nervous? How's that going?
Well, in my book, I'll tell you a little bit more about the business credit, but I got me a generator, so I feel I got my backup. So in my little condo or whatever, me and my son are prepared. We got our generator, plenty of water. They're on sale at Publix, 2 for $8. And then we keep canned foods because I'm a cooker, so I'm prepared.
You're prepared.
Yeah.
Good looking out on that. I kept seeing Facebook posts where people are saying, you guys do not drink this much water. Like, there's no water at Sam's. You know, people get crazy when it's around that storm time. So you're all set. You got your generator, you got your canned goods, you got your water. You're great. So I need to jump on the bandwagon with that, because I'm one of those Floridians that doesn't quite prepare like they should unless I hear that it's like a category 25.
Last minute, don't be last minute, because everything will be gone.
I know. I know. I'm like, somebody watching this podcast episode is gonna have to catch me up. And so, listen, I want to know. Let's talk about Mondays, because I don't know if you know this, but Monday is my favorite day of the week, and so Monday has always been my favorite day of the week because it's your day to. It's like a fresh start. So it's like whatever you didn't accomplish that previous week, you're able to reset it and start fresh, start anew. So that's how I visualize Mondays. And so in your profession, Mondays are typically days where you're off. And so are you still treating your Mondays as such, or do you work on your Mondays now?
So truth is, I traded my Mondays for Saturdays.
Okay.
I actually work through the week, Monday through Friday, and I save those Saturdays and devote them with my son. So I'm an independent mother.
Yes.
So Mondays he's in school. I'm not going to get anything done when he's out of school. So I treat those Mondays and I stay working in the salon. So yes.
Okay, good. I really, really like that. Like I don't know, like it's just always been that thing. And it's like I see a lot of people who are in the beauty industry, you know, who are hairstylists, etc. Sometimes I've noticed lately that they have different perspectives on that work week. And I've noticed that the business mindset has changed a little bit, where, like you said, like I'm talking to more and more stylists where they are freeing up their time. And I'm like, wow, like no, like stylists back in the day didn't necessarily think of that, but I feel that it comes at a cost. And we're going to talk about that a little later as I'm discovering with doing my research. But I respect it. All right. So I'm going to ask you also, right now, how would you describe yourself now, the Trenise that you are now versus the Trenise that you were in your 20s? How would you describe the differences between the two?
Ooh. So I'm in my mid-30s. But the Trenise now versus the 20 has evolved, has matured, and I feel that, as the pastors say, every 10 years we shed, just like the animal, we shed. So I'm in my 30s, I'm mid-30s, and before I get to my 40s, in comparison to my 20s, I feel like I've evolved in my career, in my personal life as a mother, just all around as a lady. In my 20s, I was still learning the curves, learning the ropes of life, learning the ropes of my profession. And as I have graduated into my 30s, my mid-30s, I've evolved. I've matured in so many angles, and I'm going to tell you about it later.
All right. I love it. Where do you think you get your tenacity and your work ethic from? Where do you think who do you think you get that from?
If I look in the mirror, it's my mother. It's definitely my mom. If anyone knows my mom,
if you don't say your mom, I'm gonna bring her up.
Yes, if anyone knows my mom, they know her strength and her hard working, and it definitely has trickled down generations to me. I can't sit around. I can't not be busy. I'm a go-getter. I have to go to the money. So yeah, if you know my mom, then that's truly me. Yes.
I love that. And I'm so glad, like I said, I'm so glad that you said that, because I grew up just looking at your mom and I'm like, oh my gosh, Miss Trina, what are you doing now? Like, you've never been shy to work at, like you said, a workaholic. Like, we'll get to the bag. Miss Trina had the latest cars, the latest bag, the latest shoes, but she was a hard worker. It's just like, I've never seen someone who I felt that their passion was to work. And it just seems like your mom gets so much gratification from working, and just looking at her, it's like, yeah, like if you want to provide for your family, and if, you want something and you don't have to depend on anyone else, that's what you have to do. You have to work for it. So even I respected her, like being on the outside looking in, and I'm like, I look at you and I'm like, that's Trina number 2. That's Trina reloaded.
Independent and hardworking, indeed.
Hard work. And it's nothing wrong with hard work at all. So, and we will know how that has, worked in your favor, of course, along the lines of the interview. And so, what do you think was that one thing that caused you to change from your 20s to your 30s? Like, what do you think that one thing, was it like a switch in you, or what would you accredit your growth to?
Definitely a mindset shift. Watching how I moved in my 20s and then seeing those like-minded, or you know how they say you want to be better when you grow, you want to evolve. The shift for me was transitioning from college to the real life. I'll say that. I had an opportunity to go to school. I went to Tallahassee, but the whole ordeal from the college life, and you still kind of got that string attachment to your parent until I became that adult. And then I was a parent. So it was definitely that shift in mindset and lifestyle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm telling you, being a parent just brings out something totally different in you. Like, it's just like, only the strong survive. I'm just trying to tell you. Yeah, so I definitely understand that. And so, when did you decide that you wanted to be a stylist, like a hairstylist?
So truth is, it's been a passion. Hands-on, serving, doing for others. I've noticed it's something that naturally comes upon me. I've been doing it for many, many years. Even middle school, high school, I'm wanting to be a servant. I'm wanting to serve those that I love and the ones around me. When I found the specific passion for hair, it was when I was in college, when I left for school. The traditional associate's degree, bachelor's degree wasn't my lane. I was in school, but I wasn't loving it.
Yeah.
And when I realized that I enjoyed doing hair and bringing out the inner beauty within individuals, that's where I was like, you know what? That's my niche. And I told my mom, and she said, okay, spread your wings and fly.
Yeah.
And like a butterfly, I did. I went to pursue hair. My first degree was braiding stylist. I was a braider. And then I realized that definitely wasn't more. There definitely was more.
Yeah.
So I pursued the cosmetology. So yes. Definitely.
So what would be the difference for those out there who don't quite understand the difference between being a stylist and cosmetology? What would you say? What's the difference between those?
Well, the beginner level, I would say, is the braider. The braiders now are not required to have a license. So that means they don't need education. They don't need the in-depth knowledge of the business management, the anatomy, etc. That's the basic braider. Now, I advanced to the licensed cosmetologist. Now, cosmetologists traditionally will learn the anatomy, the physiology, but I am what we call a master cosmetologist.
Okay.
I have additional training experience rather than the traditional cosmetologist, which includes knowledge geared towards the courses of the anatomy, the physiology, business management, which is associate level already in itself. And I seek to learn more things, more skills to add to my license. So that's what made me a master cosmetologist.
Got you. I love that. When you think about your experiences with hairstylists that you've experienced,
okay,
what would you say? Because we get asked this question all the time in education, especially in educational leadership. But what happened to you that you said, when it's my turn, I'm not going to do this. This is not going to be the example that I'm going to even have my clients experience?
So I'm big on time management, because I see myself, I'm trying to manage my time. In addition to that, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, managing multiple businesses, what I noticed was not going to be me. I'm big on time etiquette. So I have implemented the scheduling strategy to make sure that everyone's on time. And for me, myself, on time, implementing that schedule, because time etiquette is very important. You only got 24 hours in a day, 8 hours of sleep,
Yes.
16 hours of work. Like, you do the math. So time is very important. I've noticed from different stylists, they can be slightly careless. Previous stylists I've worked with, and then they can be mindful of their clientele, and they have things to do as well. It's just like the doctor's office. They run on
Yeah.
structure.
Yeah.
So should we. It's a profession.
Yeah.
So I'm big on time etiquette.
Do you find that when you have those conversations with people, is that one of the number one things that they say as well?
Definitely. Definitely. I
Yeah.
think being ill prepared is the go, because when a client comes in, you have to check the temperature. Long day, they want to come in, get their service, they got to get home to get the dinner, get the family, etc. So being late, it's going to be a weird vibe. The temperature in the room is going to be a little warm, like it's going to be offset. So that's definitely one of the main factors I found, time etiquette, from the reviews that I get.
Yeah.
I want the good and the bad. I want the good with the bad. The reviews that I'm receiving is definitely about time etiquette, mainly the one, or overbooking, but we'll get on that one later.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Which goes hand in hand, with that time management. And so, like, let's go on the other end of the spectrum. When you said it's my turn, when it's my turn to own a business, whether you were in a shop with someone, or it was your shop, what did you say? This is a must for me. I have to bring this to my brand. Like, these are the services, or this is what I want to provide for my clientele.
For me, it was about continuing education. From the braiding level to the cosmetologist, it wasn't enough. I wanted to do more. So learning the license to eyelash extensions, microblading, wigology, just learning more so I can be more accessible to the clients.
Okay. Good. Good. Now, I love a stylist that has a good personality. I'm like one of these clients where if I come in, and by the way, I will say that time management is a reason why I stopped going to salons. Like, it just got so bad until I was just like, yes, I love being pampered. I mean, even if somebody was paying for it for me, Trenise, like, it just got so bad until it just bothered my spirit. I'm like, I cannot believe that I have been here this long, because sometimes, it's the travel time.
Definitely.
It's I'm hungry too. I want to stop and eat too. But it was just like, even as luxurious as the salon was, it just all boiled down to, the bells and whistles just really didn't hit with what mattered to me. And what mattered to me was my time. And I was just like, I already know how to do hair a little bit. I got through college, and we all have to learn, a little skill set. So I know how to do, I know how to do what I need to do. And so I just started doing that. And then I was like, a hairstyle that I think should take this long, then I'll do that. So braids. That's why I was big with braids for a long time, because it's like I can just spend this time, and then I don't have to go back for a long time. So that look, you really hit it on the head when you said that time management. Like, that was a real biggie for me. And so, listen, leading up to this interview, I started doing research, because one of the things that I started to notice about this industry versus back in the day, and I marvel in it, because I'm like, whoa, like, really? Like, we go back to the days of Bonner Brothers and Bailey and all of those, hair shows. And for me, those were really the only professionals that I saw make a lucrative living when it comes to cosmetology, when it comes to being a hairstylist. Kim Kimball. But I was looking at a YouTube channel today, and it was someone who went over the steps on the how-to of, if you are a stylist, you definitely could make $10,000 a month. And she literally laid it out how you can make $10,000 a month. And so I got to thinking, I'm like,
you finna be a hairstylist, Jazz?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
It might be a little side hustle. I just need you to teach me how to braid, since we gotta have licenses and all that. That's the one thing I don't know how to do well, is braid. I can do everything else but braid.
I got braid coming.
What's attractive to me is the living that you can make now. as being a stylist, whereas I didn't necessarily see that back in the day. And I've been pondering on that all day, which is why I went down this rabbit hole into looking at this YouTube channel. And I'm like, yo, $10,000 a day. And she just talked about how she scaled her business. Like, you back it up. You say that if you want to make $10,000 in a month, then you have to divide it by this many days. That means that you have to make what, $500 a day. And so yeah, like she took it there. She went real in depth, and she's like, okay, if you have to make $500 in a day, then if you're doing haircuts, if you were only charging $40 for a haircut, this is how many haircuts you have to do. And so then you need to start looking at your more high-end services, and you need to start booking more of those services, pitching more to those, clientele. And the one thing that struck me that she said is, you should not be afraid to make money. Like, yes, it's a passion. Right. So it's a passion of yours, but you cannot be afraid to make money because you are in an industry of service. And that's what you started off with, that you are passionate about service. And she said, at the end of the day, you are offering a service every single day. Everything that you do, you are offering a service. So don't be afraid to charge for that. So I got to thinking, and I'm like, you know what? That's one thing you don't have to tell stylists nowadays is to not feel guilty. However, every stylist is not created equal. And I'm like, some people are trying to charge this when you really are not a master stylist like Miss Trenise Parham. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I'm seeing stylists rolling up in G-Wagons and, into the social media. You're now an influencer. I mean, it's like, yo, the profession has been put in the spotlight, and it does look enticing. So what are your thoughts on that, how it has evolved?
Well, what I'm passionate about most as a beauty consultant, it goes beyond the cosmetics. For me, it's more about empowering women to embrace their inner beauty, to feel confident in their own skin. That can mean hair, skin, nails. There's a plethora. There's an umbrella. Again, like you said, you can target a certain audience, you can set high prices, or you can set expectations. For me, it was the expectations. I was embarking on a journey of transformation. I couldn't just be a regular braider, because all they come in, get their hair braided, you don't see them for months, like you stated. Right. For me, I wanted to make sure they want to come back. For me, so the experience, everything I have to offer, it's more than hair, it's more than cosmetology, it's about the connection. There are often a lot of my clients that are friends. They're grew into friends to where we support each other. We go to each other's events. We're celebrating one another's birthday. So it's more than just doing hair. And then, as I'll explain in my book, once you go get the book, the 8 streams of income, providing multiple ways to get to the money before they get out the door. That's really what it's about.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I do. Let's see. Describe the mentality behind stylists wanting to not stay behind the chair for a long time. I know that because I've had several stylists on my show, and then I've also engaged in conversations about, this, because it can be tiring, on your body. Okay. And you have some stylists that never want to come from behind the chair. It's like, this is my happy place. This is, I'm in sync when I'm here. But you have a lot of stylists who have formed this mentality of, I don't want to be behind the chair, for the long run. And so their exit strategy is to come up with ways where they don't have to physically be behind the chair all day in order to make the living that they want. So what's your mentality when it comes to that?
Sounds like Jazz got a copy of my book before it released.
I do my research.
See, that's good. That's good. My jazz on that. My jazz on that.
Hey.
For me, so the experience I like to maximize. So initially, before a client leaves, I'm going to have a shirt to offer. I'm going to have an oil treatment for their hair. I'm going to book them before they leave. I'm going to have additional services that they're needing. Sometimes we come in just for hair, but it's time for a manicure and a pedicure. Sometimes we come in with that new hair. We need to match our wax job. So I'm going to continue to keep offering the things that are going to beautify them inside and out. So that is how we maximize on a client. You offering them the services that you know they need. And as a cosmetologist, master cosmetologist, it's not always just hair. For me, you'll learn later that I have picked up a couple more, I would say trades, but a couple more skills and specialties that I have to offer to the public. So in my past, some have their preference on stylists. So you may not be the first one, but that doesn't mean you can't service with me. I have other services to offer. Yeah. It doesn't have to be hair, which takes me over to the business side. There's a lot of people in business or doing business that's not in business. And when I realized that, I took an interest in that lane so I can help those up jump their business. So
awesome. Yep. I have someone who was saying she definitely made me feel welcome from the first time we met. So that's one of your clients. So that's a great testimony right there. A testimonial. So it's great that you have that. And so how has the business of styling evolved into the industry that it is today? Like, I know you're talking oils, you're talking lashes, you're talking waxing and all of those good things. Like, if you had to give me a conglomerate of the services that you offer, because it's more than a hairstyle, as you stated, give us a laundry list of the things that you can do. What can you do, master stylist?
Trenise, as a master stylist, I am a cranial prosthetic supplier, which is the medical term for wigs. Those are for cancer, lupus patients that are going through chemo and witnessing hair loss. I have also seek the certification for microblading, because when you lose your hair, you don't just lose the hair on your head. You lose the hair in elsewhere, other places. I have connected with industry experts to learn about building the business, starting the business, and funding the business, which is a big deal in all industries, not just beauty consultant. By attending workshops and conferences, that's what helps me and that's what gets me further. Working on also being a speaker on a national platform. I'm a part of the National Speakers Association here in Central Florida, which is an organization that serves for keynote speakers, motivational speakers, coaches, and consultants. So I'm just here for, Diverse Dynasty in general is not just a company, it's a collaboration of diverse individuals, cultures, and talents. So I'm here to inspire and unify and help our business owners. So
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. And what's so awe-inspiring and a testimonial to what you just stated is the person that pitched you to me in order to be on my podcast. I would have never in a million years thought that you guys would have known each other. And I thought back to that. What you say?
Probably my boss, but go ahead.
I thought back to that, and I'm like, this is great. This is great stuff, because I love to see when people just move from within their circle. Like, they don't stay there, but they go outwardly, and you network and you tell people all of these services that you have to offer. Yeah. And I know this person may not even thought that we even knew, one another, but it's like, wow, that says something to me when you can have people. What'd you say?
Go ahead and drop it, the name.
Okay. You really want to know? I'm going to have you to guess, because you're in a group with this person. Her initials
are so the core organization, is that our Winter Haven core?
Yes.
Hey. So Professor Demetrius. No?
Look around you. Where are you?
Oh, snap, my boss. Stephanie, that's my boss. Look, another secret. I'm versatile. They don't even know I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, I thought that was so funny. I was like, wow. I was like, I don't even know if I told her that I knew you, but I was like, absolutely. Like, I definitely would add her to this.
It was
Right.
divine, the connection.
And I'm so glad that you said that, because a lot of people, just to go off on a tangent, but a lot of people, I don't know if they know the magic behind this show either. And so, like, this show has connected so many people in a way that your services, transcends amongst groups, amongst industries, and it just does that. And so I love when guests from my previous shows meet one another, or they've provided a service for one another, or people come on my show and say, or watch the show and say, wow, I live in Polk County and I don't even know this person. So I'm so glad you had them on your show. So it's a cross hybrid. It's divine, exactly like what you said. And I truly believe that God leads me to each and every one of the guests that I have on this show. So I don't feel that it's a mistake. Like anyone that I converse with, I feel that you were supposed to be my guest. So you were supposed to be here for episode 98. And you gave me a job interview, but you're here.
I'm here. I love it.
Listen, and I love it. And I'm just like, you're committed to your brand, because it's your livelihood, and you have to treat your brand seriously, because if you don't, who else is going to do so? And so I just want to say, like, that's one of the things that I do respect about you. And it's like, you made me do a double take, and I'm like, yeah, okay, Trenise, let's go. Let's see how this works and how it matures. And so, like, we've come to the part of the show where, I want you to dig deep into who you are. I want you to give us a journey of how it is that you've become this business maven, with Diverse Dynasty. How did you get into speaking? Like, from the beginning, like, what have you had to overcome? And then where you are now, because now you can add author to the list of things that you do. So what do you consider to be your comeback story, Trenise?
Definitely. So what I will say is, I'm a walking proof that determination to any setback can be turned into a stunning comeback story. Mm-hmm. But what I also want to say is, I'm not here on a comeback. I'm here to come better. So that's what I've been doing with myself individually, so I can deliver, is come better. From education, from workshops, from conferences, from schooling, from sitting with experts. I wanted to come not back, but come better when I come at it. So starting from, again, like you said, in our 20s, I've been doing hair actually not quite 20 years, officially licensed about 18 years. So again, as I stay transitioning into that adulthood in my journey of hair and maturing and evolving, you just continue to grow. You can't stop. You can't be complacent. You have to continue to grow. And that's what I set sail on. As we've introduced my book, Becoming an Author, was something ultimately I want to leave my son something behind. But it had to be a purpose. So the title of my up and coming book, the release hasn't been dropped, but it's How to Transition from Section 8 to 8 Streams of Income. So a little nugget, not to give you too much, because I do want you to go out and get the book. But the mindset of being in Section 8 is to, I'm going to say it keeps you in a bubble. It keeps you limited. And the mindset of being in Section 8 will keep you down. If anyone knows what subsidized housing is, that's the root of this book and me transitioning out of it. Transitioning from subsidized housing, it'll tell you more in my book, a little bit about that story, the beginning of my motherhood. And transitioning out, for me, was the beginning of my livelihood in reference to my career, in reference to the direction where I'm going. And again, 8 streams of income. I'll elaborate more in my book. We'll say that.
I will say, because I know you're saving, a lot of this story, for your book. And here's another common thread that I'm seeing with you, and actually someone, with the story that she actually shared when I had my podcast 1-year anniversary, my live show. And one of the feeds that I have, one of the teasers that I have actually for that show, is my special guest, who happened to be a hairstylist. She talks about tough times, and her tough time was being on Section 8. So look at how this is kind of aligning, or this has definitely a common thread. As I state, that's what this show is about. People who have a common thread, and that is the power of this comeback story. Yeah, we're coming better, and what people, I think, kind of misconstrue what they feel a comeback is, because I know that we haven't left, but we are not always able to show up as ourselves 100%. 100% healed, 100% sure about ourselves, 100% confident, 100% ready, 100%, like in our financial era where we feel that we're going to make it out of some things, because there are some questioning times where it's like, God, I don't know what you're trying to do. I just have to trust you during this era, because although I know you're going to bring me out of it, this is tough. This is a tough time for me, and I need you, right? And so when you talk about that subsidized housing, having you in a bubble, yeah, that's what she talked about, because it's like it keeps you there, because as long as you are only making a certain amount, you cannot go outside of this compound, because if you go outside, you must not need the assistance anymore. And not receiving that assistance can be dire to someone who is a single mom, or whatever their situation is, if they're not 100% on their feet. And so it keeps you at a level of not being able to excel to, the point that you need to be, right? And so what led you to being in a situation where you had to be on subsidized housing, where you had to be on Section 8?
Pride. Let's be honest. We all walk with it on our shoulders. It's pride. For me, I can be transparent and say, I wanted to challenge my mom. I wanted to challenge my family or my parents and show them I'm strong. I can stand on my own 2 feet. When the reality is, and the truth, we do need that village.
Yeah.
It can come from friends. It can come from colleagues. It can come from family from time to time. And sometimes it came from my clients. That's why a lot of my clients have been here and been in my life 8 years, 10 years. I have clients that have flew back in to make sure that only I touch their hair, only I service their hair. So sometimes that drive, that motivation is what keeps you afloat. I'm not saying it wasn't easy. It definitely wasn't easy. Transitioning from Section 8 to where I am now, there was still that gray area. That gray area, that black and white, and in the middle there's that gray. I still didn't have it all together. I had to keep fighting. Yeah. You have to keep pushing, and then you have to stay strong. Because there's some weak times. That valley goes up, and it come back down, and then it goes back up again. But that's where that faith lies. You know that God will provide. You don't know how, but you have to have that faith. You have to be obedient, and then that patience. Ooh, I'm still waiting on that for my grand mansion and my 5 cars and my husband. But that patience, you just have to be patient and listen to your heart, and then be patient and listen to God.
Yeah, you do. I talked to someone the other day, and they were stating that they had to overcome imposter syndrome. Like we sometimes feel that we intrinsically know who we are, what we want, but then we feel that we're not showing up as this person because we don't already have it. We feel like we are a fake walking around daily. Like, I am trying to tell you how to get here, and I'm not really here yet, but I know I'm going to get there. And it's just like you walk around with this imposter syndrome. Have you ever had to undergo that? Have you ever experienced it?
Definitely. And we still walk in it every day, whether it's parenting, whether it is our everyday life in our field, professionally, whether it's me being a sister, whether it's me being a mother, me being a daughter, because my mother had more than one. So in comparison, definitely witness that on an everyday, a regular basis, unless you take control of your mind and your thoughts and you act upon them and you just push forward.
How did you get to that mindset? Because that's what a lot of people struggle with. They don't know how to formulate the mindset needed.
For me, trial and error. I got tired of being bruised or being hurt. So you fall on the ground, you bust your knee open, it heals. You fall again, you bust the same one, it takes a little longer to heal. You keep doing that again, it's going to take longer to heal. So trial and error will teach you at some point, because you ain't going to want to be there no more. You're going to want to try something different. Or maybe I won't even go that route because I keep falling on that route. So we're going to change up the game. It may take longer, but we're going to take our maze and we're going to go that way. And I mean, just pushing through and perseverance, for sure.
Where did you find your resources? Because I don't think I necessarily stopped you in the middle of your in what you consider to be your story of coming better.
Okay.
Because you were taking us on, the journey. I know that it's apparent that a lot of this story is in your book, and of course, you want to drive the interest of, book sales, and you want to be able to give that story in your book. But I am questioning, I just wonder, just a ponder, just the things that you had to go through. Because I'm listening to the title of the book, 8 ways to go from section 8 to 8 streams of income, or how to go from section 8 to 8 streams of income. And you don't just sit here and you listen to a person without really just asking them like the nitty gritty of it, because I feel that I'm a very strong-willed person. I feel that I'm easily motivated, self-motivated, but life. You know how they say life be life, right? And so, whether it's you being a single mother, whether it's you doing all that you can, but you're not seeing that financial reward that you want, you're being faithful and you're working this thing every single day, but you're still not seeing the return that you want to see. And I just know I don't want to do a disservice to anybody looking and somebody who's really experiencing this, but just how do you continue to keep going every day? Because we wrap it up and we make it sound glorious, but what do you do? Like, even if it's a mantra that you say, even if it's a prayer that you say, even if it's aligning yourself with the right people, like how do you do it?
So for me, I had to shake some old friends and get some new friends. Okay. If things weren't changing in my life, I had to make the change, or better yet, be the change. Okay. So the environment I was in had to shift. We finna get this hurricane, so I'm trying to shift. I'm going away from it and not into it.
Right.
For me, going back to the Section 8 mindset, going back to the Section 8 time frame in my life, it became a movie that was playing over and over again in repetition. And when I say a movie, I was seeing things that were in movies that I didn't really think were real life. When I say that, I'm meaning me and my 8-year-old son has witnessed someone being shot in front of us, someone being murdered in front of us. And I say someone, but at this point, I think my son has probably witnessed 2 or 3 murders. So that enough was enough. And when I say something got to shake, mama ain't been raised like this, and you shouldn't be either. Right. Life became a movie. What we see in movies, when we're seeing action and we seeing things going on right before our eyes. So I completely had to shift the narrator. I had to shift the atmosphere. And if I want better results for my son, I had to shift everything around us, from the old friends to the new friends. And those new friends, thank God for them. They put me in places and in rooms and around influencers and industry experts that I had to own my place. Some opportunities were given to me, some opportunities were handed over to me, and some opportunities I had to work for. But trust and believe, if you know Trenise, when I opened that door and I came in that room, a ray of sunshine, breath of fresh air. I'm gonna make myself known when I'm in that room, and I'm going to maximize on every opportunity that came to me. I had to change the game, as they would say. Went from football to basketball. 2 different dynamics, 2 different amount of people on the team, I just had to shift the narrative. For me, I was not going to allow my son to be in the streets instead of the seats. In the seats of these opportunities that I have, he was going to reap the benefits of that. So I definitely had to change, do a 360. And I'm talking about not go left, I had to go right and do a 360. So I had to change it up.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that you keep bringing up changing your environment, especially if you want better, you know, because it comes to a point. Someone sent me something the other day, and oh my God, like it brought tears to my eyes. It brought tears to my eyes because it was a video that someone created, but it was a voiceover. And the voiceover basically stated that you have to keep going because you are around people who are in your face, mm-hmm. who could change your life. They could introduce you to someone that could change your life. They could, you know, give you a piece of advice. They could lead you in a direction that they know will change your life. And you know what is stopping them from doing that? It's because they don't want to see you grow higher or bigger than them. Mm-hmm. And they said, don't be fooled. You are surrounded by people who very well could help you. And when I say that thing stuck with me, oh my gosh, it stuck with me because it is so very true. You can be, and you know, because you try to align yourself with these people because you're with these people because you know of their greatness. But then you never receive any type of greatness from them. It's never trickling over here in my direction for some reason. But you can meet someone that you don't even know, a stranger, and that same day they will tell you somebody that you need to go talk to. And I started paying attention to that, and I'm like, wow, like your environment is so critical when it comes to your growth. And it doesn't have anything to do with you, you know, selling out or being, you know, you're just chasing something, you know, like you're not sincere. No, what it is I want a life that God has ordained for me. If I am visualizing this every day, a better life for myself, then God has had to have placed these people that I'm meeting, you know, in my sphere for a reason. You know, because I don't believe that things come to you by chance. I believe that it is for a reason. And so if you're not taking advantage of those opportunities, if you're not going after those things that God clearly sends to you, that's a disservice. That's a disservice to you and a disservice to him, you know? And so I'm saying that because I keep honing in on you saying you had to change your environment. And I want to drive that point home to people who want better. If you want better, you have to grow. And all throughout your bio, the one thing that you keep saying is that you are getting to the next level because you're not shying away from further development. Professional development is integral. I mean, it's critical, right? It's essential. That personal development, you know, you're learning different skills, you know, your mindset, you're making sure that your mind is right. You know, you're aligning yourself with the right people, with the right resources, and you know where your goal is, and so you're just kind of mapping it out backwards of what you have to do for it. So I think that if nothing else is driven home, you know, it's just that circle, that environment.
I'm gonna piggyback off what you said though. If you don't be very careful, you can be consumed. I was almost there. You got to be very careful. I woke up one day, I'm walking outside and I'm looking around like none of these people are like me. None of these people are doing what I'm doing. They say I'm different, I'm bougie, but I want to be the one in the group that's looking up to the next person. So again, you have to be very careful and have that discerning spirit of what's for you is for you and what's not is not. I was going downhill at one point. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to talk about all the flashy and all the good without the bad because I was allowing it to consume me. I was allowing depression to hit. That in-between time when the books ain't busy. We have seasons too. Like we're coming into this hurricane season. But you have to be strong enough to overcome. You have to be strong enough to identify it most importantly, because for me, I had to identify, dang, I'm starting to do what they're doing. I'm starting to want to fit in with them or being accepted. So I was lenient with some of the expectations that I had set for myself. So again, you just have to be mindful. You have to change that mindset. If you see your goals, set more goals. You set those goals, you achieve those goals, set higher goals. The expectation has to be higher for you to be better, for you to evolve into in your better self.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. When you say that, let's talk about the ending of this movie,
Okay.
because you paralleled, some of the trials that you were going through by saying that you felt like you were waking up in a movie. But let's talk about a happy ending for this movie that we'll call life. When you see yourself, where's the highest form of Trenise? Like, what does that life look like? The ideal point. Where's your pinnacle? Is what I'm asking.
My pinnacle in the beauty industry, my ultimate goal is to be a trichologist. A lot of people aren't familiar with what that is or that term. It's the doctor
Right.
of the scalp. So when
Okay.
a lot of people or a lot of individuals are saying, I have this going on, I have this going on, I want to be able to diagnose you, and I want to be able to write those scripts. And first and foremost, or last but not least, I want to have doctor in my name. So in my industry and in my field, my ultimate goal is to be a trichologist, which is the doctor of the scalp. Dermatologist, doctor of the skin. Trichologist, doctor of the scalp. So for hair, for flakes and abrasions, however, I want to be able to identify and diagnose you and have that doctor in the end of my name. But I'm sorry, that tickled me. But ultimately, just keep on pushing. I keep on improving my skills. I keep on stay current with the beauty trends, the technology. Ultimately, my business expansion, I'm looking to offer more, share more, educate more. And again, like I said, in the business operations, I want to show you how to make more money with your business as well.
I love it. I love it. I never have heard of a trichologist. I've never heard of a trichologist. And when I tell you I'm excited right now, because when I say at the first opportunity to use it, I'm going to use it.
And
I
a lot of
love
people
learning
don't
new
even know
things.
that, hey, we're in the insurance too. We're in
Oh,
insurance just like dermatologists. So if you got a corporate job and you're having conflict or issues with your scalp, or you can't really figure out why your hair won't grow in certain areas, if you work in the corporate field, just like dermatologists, you have
right.
access to a trichologist. So again, I'm trying to get to the money, remember?
I love that. You better know the ins and outs of your field. I love it. So you have different, because I'm going to keep you on that business note. Okay. Get your course. Okay. So you have different packages that you offer in your press kit. And so talk to us about the business services that you do offer in order to be able to scale someone's business.
So I have a consulting, coaching, and consulting is first. I'm sorry. So initially, when you come to me, you tell me your business plans. We talk about what you want to do. I'm creating the strategy for you to get that 8 streams of income. Ultimately, let's see. By example, I get food truck. I'm gonna use a food truck. It's very simple. And I have a viewer here that's also in the food industry. When someone talks about doing a food truck, they just think of the food. There's so many multiple strategies on how to increase that and to get to 8 streams of income. You can have a storefront and a mobile food truck and a clothing line for your customers to promote you, and specialized cups and sell those, or tumblers. Like, there's so many different things to add on to that one profession. Give me one more example, Jazz, and then I can give you a strategy real quick.
So, like an example of how to scale it?
Nope, give me another business, so then I can give you
business. All right, so what if I am in the t-shirt business?
If you're in the t-shirt business, you're going to do more than t-shirts. You're going to make the bottoms, you're going to make the keychains, you're going to make the lanterns, you're going to make the belts, you're going to make matching shoes, you're going to have a third party craft them. Like, there's so many different things to complete an outfit or complete a look, or throw in some gift cards and partner with the stylist to get their hair together, or a barber to keep their clean cuts. Like, there's so many multiple avenues. When you have a shirt company, you can put them in vending machines. Who never said you couldn't?
Yeah.
Start it up. So you can be the markets on the weekends or the once a month markets. Like, there's so many different ways to get money instead of just having it on a Wix or a Shopify platform,
right?
and say, hey, come buy my shirts. You got to get out there and feed the people. Some people don't know about your business. So
Let me give you one more. Let me give you one more for
go Jazz.
Just because. Let's do a teacher.
Okay. A teacher, she can do shirts, brand and market, have an A+ or signature phrases. A teacher can also have the keychains. A teacher can also do vending machines, or they can educate and teach other people how to start their business. They can do tutoring sessions after school. Who doesn't need that? In that pandemic, a lot of people was on the computer and they lacked their education, so there's ways to up it. You can put them on a Shopify and market different, like I said, the shirts, products, supplies, and have slogans on them, have keychains. Like, there's so many different avenues of increasing one business and making up to 8 streams of income. And we'll talk.
I love it.
I heard you as a principal as well.
Listen, I love it. I love all of that. I just, because I'm so passionate about
teaching and
just helping teachers, because teachers live paycheck to paycheck. We're not even going to front like they don't, and they do have to do some of the things that you just said, like the tutoring. Like, when I was a teacher, even as an administrator, like, I tutored. Like, for one, I loved it, but as a teacher, I loved it. But that was my money to make me feel like I could go take a vacation if I wanted to, or I could take my sons, out. We can go out to eat as much as we want to eat. And so, yeah, I have a
travel agent. Teachers can be your travel agent. Teachers can make shirts, have a shirt presser, have crickets, have the wood cutters, and they can make these accessories. Guess what? Another one I used to love to do, 31. Anytime I go somewhere, I'm having all my bags of customized bags and selling them to teachers, doctors, lawyers. They want to carry cute stuff to lunch. Like, there's always a way to get money the right way. Come see me, girl. Come see me.
Look, I love it. I'll send some people to you.
Listen,
you need to come and speak to the staff on, on one of our professional developments. Like, I'm gonna invite you to my campus so they can talk to you. Because when I say I want to be a catalyst for these teachers to get rich, like, why not? Like, we need to stop. Okay, I'm gonna put myself on the soapbox, because I'm just like, why do you expect for teachers to not get paid? Because you're in the education field and you're a servant to the kids, and baby, we want to make money too.
We want to make that 15, bada bing, bada boom.
Right. Why not? Why not? And so you have something that sparked my attention that you stated is the funding, because there's so many things that can stop your growth business wise if you don't have the proper funding. And so I don't want you to share all of the secrets, but could you share just some things that you need to think about in terms of getting, like, the business credit? How do we get funded, Trenise?
So the blueprint or the foundation for that is being properly structured and properly set up. That's what I push initially with my consultations, to make sure that your business is structured, registered. Most importantly, there are a lot of people doing business, or should I say in business, but not professionally doing business. Registered with the state, proper insurance, because that's important. Your business can go downhill if you don't have insurance and you get sued. But that's the first and foremost, the key to getting funded, is making sure you're properly set up. If you're not, come and see me. I'll show you how. In addition to that, I'm going to piggyback on what's going on right now.
Yeah.
After this category 2, come see me Friday. There's going to be some SBA funding for disasters, for water floods, for trees dropping out the air, for whatever's going on with Franklin and Isabella? No, I don't know. But I'm saying there's funding everywhere, but the beauty of it is, unless you put yourself in those rooms, who's going to know how to get to them and who's going to know about them? That's what I built myself, my new business and my new evolving self around, getting those rooms to get educated. Because those other people in those other, what's the word I want to use? I'm gonna say in subsidized housing, they won't have the access to be in those rooms. So for me, I bring the knowledge and the education back to those of like-minded who are seeking to get that knowledge. There's funding in multiple places. I can come to me, visit my website. I can tell you about how to start up a nonprofit and how to get some grant money, which that's funding in itself. I mean, there's funding with hospitals. There's funding in schools to an extent, government. There's funding in retail. There's funding in so many different directions that people don't know where to turn. But guess what? You can't get to the funding unless your foundation is set.
Yeah.
So that's very important. It's all about foundation first and foremost.
What do you say to the person who's afraid of entrepreneurship? Like if they are just like you see so much potential in them, like you can see them being the ideal client for a consult, and you feel that, oh my gosh, if you would just let me guide you and lead you, like you'd be set. What do you say to that person who's apprehensive, or that person who just is not business minded?
I tell them to lay all the cards out. Let's play this game called life. Lay all your cards out. Let's see what hand you've been given. In a game of spades, you better have all your trumps in order, you know? But let's lay the cards out and let's see, the hand that you're given. And because everybody's journey is different. Everybody's hand is going to be totally different. It's about, again, the mindset. What play is next? The smartest move. Are you going to play to win, or are you going to play scared? In the metaphor of a playing cards, you're going to play your highest spade, or you're going to be scared because someone else is going to cut you. So in that mindset, you just got to be ready. Telling somebody, shoot, look at me, I did it. I'm a walking example, walking proof of what determination to any setback, it can turn around and be your comeback. I'm a walking proof.
I love it. And I marvel at your journey. And for me, I love to speak to people who can tell me what they have gone through and who can show me where they are right now, because, a lot of us are a living, breathing, walking billboard for our businesses of what can be. And so when you have that person who's authentic and who has been there, you have a niche, and you have a story, you have a compelling aura about yourself that one would look at it and say, wow, like if Trenise did it, then definitely I can too. But I'm going to talk to you about, kind of in closing, that sector I see. What do you do to tap into a market of professionals who are there? Like they know all about business and they know the strategies. How do you work the room there? Like what is that special thing about Trenise that gets you in the room and keeps you in the room and gets people to see you as a person that they can listen to?
No, I pat myself on the back. I be my authentic self.
Yes.
What I have realized in a setting, everyone is not going to accept me. And that's true, they don't. But those people, they're not for me. The ones that gravitate to me and the ones that accept me and the ones that are, like you said, my boss, who referred me over to you and made the divine connection, I'm still going to be my authentic self. Because that's what gains those followers, that's what gains those friends, those, as you see, those business relationships. And being my authentic self is what got me where I am. It got me in those rooms. It got me in it got me in some states, if y'all really want to know. It got me to those workshops. It got me to some of those conferences. And it just keeps on coming. It keeps giving me those invites. So being your authentic self, your personality. There are some shy people, and then there's some outgoing people, and I'm her. But being authentically me will grab those who it needs to, and it'll leave behind those that it have to. That's what I have to say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, as we, wrap up, I will say thank you so much. We finally got the day. We finally got the day. It's divine. You know, we've learned all things diverse Dynasty because you definitely are diverse. I don't think that we spoke more so on the speaking part of it. So I don't want you to leave without this is my final segue for you, is to afford you the opportunity to definitely promote yourself,
Okay.
what's to come, how people can keep in contact with you. But let's start with your goal as a motivational speaker, because I definitely want to give you your shine, you know, with that.
So for me, as a motivational speaker, I plan to conduct workshops and courses and seminars myself. I am up and coming, and I also will have my YouTube. You can go visit. It is I Am Diverse Dynasty. I can drop that as well. My YouTube is actually starting. We're gearing that thing up. So I have a few podcasts that I have as well, up and coming. And in addition to that, the highlight is the book.
Yes.
How to transform from Section 8 to 8 streams of income. And there's more to come on that, but you check my website, www.diversedynasty.com. So
and
YouTube and
trust me,
book.
you will find everything there.
Everything, my YouTube and my book.
Everything there. I love it. I love it. I just, just my closing kudos to you, because I think it is so important. So important that our kids see mothers who can. You know, I think it's imperative for our sons, our daughters, to see gold diggers, GOAL diggers. Someone, in their family who can give them the gift of showing them what entrepreneurship looks like, what success looks like. And so I know that your baby, his movie is now Disney movie. His movie has moved to the Disney Channel when it comes to themes. And Trenise, your hard work and your passion, your belief in God, your belief in yourself, all of that led to him having that happy story. And so you being unafraid to do the work, and then you also being unafraid to come back and grab the next person to show them that they too can do better, and can come back better. I love it. I love all of it. And so I definitely will be supporting you. I definitely will be, dropping all of the things that will help you in terms of promotional materials and promoting it on this podcast. And it's always going to be on this podcast. So when episode 93 loads, it's forever cemented. You are part of my jazzy crew. And that's that,
That is divine.
It is divine. I absolutely love it. And I love how, just make these circles in life. It's like it's cyclical, like people that you have seen in one phase of your life, it always comes back. So those of you out there, continue to be a good person, because you never know when you're going to catch up with a person that you once knew.
Yep.
So always continue to be kind and authentic. Authentic is that word that I love that you use. So that's the key. And so thank you so much, Miss Trenise. I Am Diverse Dynasty Parham.
Diverse Dynasty.
So make sure you guys keep up with her, catch up with her, follow her on all of her socials. You can find her all things Diverse Dynasty. I Am Diverse Dynasty. I want you to make sure that you keep in contact. I love it. I love it. Look at that. Look at that. Stay connected. You see the LinkedIn, you see the Facebook, you see the Instagram, the YouTube is on the way. The book is coming. We want to make sure that book is sold out. Who says that it cannot be a New York Times bestseller? Because we can make it happen, right? We can make it happen. And if you have a book release party, I want to host it. I'm just throwing my little bid in there. Like, I'm going to sell you some products before you leave. Let me post it. Let me do a live podcast episode from the venue. Like, I got you. Just book me. I got you. All right.
Hey,
all right. So thank you so much, Trenise. I hope you have a great night. Stay safe in this storm. We already heard how you are prepared. Those of you out there in my jazzy crew land, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you follow. You hit that notifications bell on YouTube, on IG, Facebook, and all podcast platforms. Make sure that if you have a business, if you have a service, and you want to broadcast it, and you want to partner and have ad space on my podcast, It's simple. Just email me at Jazzy, Jazzzie, conversations with jazz at gmail.com. I will see you for another episode of this podcast. Catch the replay on YouTube and all podcast platforms. See you later, Trenise.
Bye.
Bye.